All right, so we've got the 4200 XL down here doing some troubleshooting. The stick didn't have any power to it, so we're gonna kind of see if we can figure out why. I'll kind of show you what was going on here. Now look, that's when I release it. It's almost like it's got air in the system, almost. Pulling back on the stick, I got nothing. And it's almost like it's locked there. And I wiggle the stick. Just get the servo wiggling. Get the motor to fire up, and then it will pull. But you can see we still don't have much there. Now this is the other part that's worrying, is I can just pull this guy. And then I've just got the slop. So there's a couple things that got me concerned about where the problem might be, and that's we're just not holding any pressure on it, so we're losing that pressure, and that doesn't matter how much I work it, it does the same thing. What I don't like is when it locks up when I'm trying to pull back on it, and it just locks in position, and then I don't get anything. Because like right now, that feels like it's supposed to. That's not bad. But then we get to this spot and we got nothing. Now I would think if it was all the time, now let's see, watch when I push it back. Now, just nothing. So it could be seals in the piston assembly. However, the way it's acting, I'm afraid the problem might be in seals in the block. Wouldn't hurt to rebuild this anyway. This is pretty easy to rebuild. So I might rebuild this one, see what it does. I think we're gonna wind up going to the block on the inside though, and having to work on that. All right, so first things first, I'm gonna pull this cover off of here. Looks like I need to tighten my set screw up again. Starting to get loose. I put so much Loctite on that thing. I might as well do that while we're in here, before it comes completely loose and I lose my turn. Get my light switch undone. All right, get that cover out of the way. Alright, now I'm going to do something here so that you guys can hear what I'm hearing. Alright, let me fire this thing up first, get this thing pumped back up. We'll kind of watch these hoses here, see if we see any air or anything. So there's a lot of air in there right now. No air in there right there. Okay. It acts like there's a bunch of air in there, though. You can see that. Let me get the camera in closer. The arm's not moving at all. Wiggle that thing. Now she's moving. See, wiggling that, all that's doing is running the servo. And so, move our receiver out of the way here. Don't want to damage our antenna. Get this guy up out of here so we can see which one we're working with here. That middle one. And the arm just kind of starts falling back right there. The arm's falling back. So this should be shutting it down. We should seal off to where we're not getting anything. So I'm just going to push on the arm. See, that should be sealed off. So I'm thinking my problem's a seal in here. All right, I think we're gonna skip the rebuild on the piston, and we're just gonna go straight to the block. Yeah, I just got a sloppy arm, and that was pushing out on it this way. Whereas you can't do that with any of the other ones. They're, you know, up down. They're solid. So yeah, I think it's in our block. So let's work on getting that block out of here. All right. And we'll see if we can do some of these repairs without having to take too much stuff apart here. So just taking that screw out right there. Right there. So I'm going to take that guy out of there. And this tank is just loose in here. So we're going to maneuver him where we need to. All right, got that guy. That should have this pretty well loose right here. So let's pull this guy out of here. I'm going to clean that area up on the top of the tank. I want to clean this all up here real quick before we tackle that. I don't want to get any of that dirt into the tank. All right, so I got the top of the tank clean. Now we're just going to pull our return off. And I still want to be careful because underneath this there still might be a little bit of dirt. Pull him up. And watch to make sure that your washers, those guys, stay on there. I'm not going to be able to get enough tip on it, I don't think, to be able to. Yeah, maybe there's enough flex there. See if we can get that pump off of there. That'll be really hard to put back on. Alright. Whoa, see, there's that washer that I don't want to lose. We'll clean that washer off. Put it back on here. And we probably ought to make sure that we put these washers, make sure that they're all in place before we get carried away putting all these back on. Okay. Alright, now we have access there. Already got these marked. This is the first time I've been onto this valve 1, 2, and 3. So I'll make sure our bottom is marked as well, or the top, either one. So we'll go 1, 2, and 3, and 3, 2, 1. That way we know where the servos go. And we'll mark the bottom of these. 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. And then we'll put black on the first one, and then we'll just go every other one. So black will start right there. So we'll go black, silver, with the numbers in order. And we'll do it in the same. So we got our servo 3. So then we'll just put another 3, 2, 1. Can't put enough marking as long as it doesn't confuse you. And let's go ahead and we'll put a rag down here in the bottom to hopefully catch. We have a little bit of oil spill. We'll grab us another clean rag to work with here. And we'll just take these guys off. Maybe. Oh man, that is tight. Ooh. A little bit of leakage. Well, that is the boom. I've worked on this before without having to take all these off before I finish up here. Make sure it's tight. Let's just see what we can do here. Let me take these 4 off and see if we can just take the servos out. I got enough play now with it to maneuver it around. So if I don't have to take all those hoses off, it'd be nice. Oh man. Oh, that is tight. And I wonder that one time that it appeared that I had too much pressure. I wonder if that didn't do some damage to one of my seals, because I had to readjust this guy. And the thing is, I don't have a pressure gauge to see, or at least I didn't. But we're going to be putting a gauge on there. Okay. All right, now let's see if we can just pull that straight out like that. Okay. That one's tight, that one's loose. So I wonder if we're just not getting centered back up where we're supposed to be. Look at that. Loose, loose. And it's just like everything. All my set screws coming loose. Unbelievable. Because this one's loose too. This one's tight. But that one's loose. That one's really loose. And that would be why I'd have to wiggle it. So it may not have anything to do with seal problem. It could just be not returning that back to neutral. All right, let's... we're going to need an Allen wrench for this, I think, because... well, the driver might get in there. Yeah, driver will get in there. No. It's not getting deep enough. So they do have these marked. That's got a 2 etched in it. Alright. So okay, that's tight. Okay, I'm going to pull this guy all the way out. Wipe the oil off of that screw. I'll put some Loctite in there. Alright, I'm going to go for the 222, the pink. It's low strength. Just with these small set screws, especially for as poorly as the Allens fit in them, I don't want to use anything too strong if I ever got to get this thing apart again. But I don't want I'm backing out. Okay. Again. Because it backed out this time on me. Alright. As I'm setting these and getting on the flat spot, once I start feeling it seat, okay, I just want to make sure I wiggle it to get it most in the center before tightening it down. And this one does not fit so poorly. I should replace that. I guess when it loosens up again, I'll replace that set screw. That one just no bueno at all. I'm going to pull this one off too. Do the same thing. Since that one was still tight, I'm not going to mess with it. Watch, that'll be the one that loosens up. Okay. Wipe it off. Oh, I should see if I have some of these set screws laying around. I'd prefer longer. I got a short one. It's a little bit shorter than the guy that's in there. Ooh. That might confuse me. But I'm gonna put a set screw on a set screw. That should keep that booger from backing out of there. Tell you what, I'm not impressed with this valve block. I haven't dug into the other ones, but this one, I mean, they're all loose. Okay. All right. Now let's put this guy back. Okay. Loctite. Oh, that one feels good. Oops. Oh yeah, that's got the arm solid. Oh man. There goes hydraulic fluid all over my shirt. It just like spit like a llama on me. Yeah, I got a spot on there. Great. Man, I keep ruining all my shirts with this hydraulic equipment. Oh well. Every shirt for me is a work shirt. That's hilarious. Oh man. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we were just winding up sitting kind of cockeyed in there. Okay, so now these things aren't exactly straight, so we'll kind of start with one. Try and get these guys aligned here. Boom. Like that. Okay. All right, so good. It doesn't seem to be an internal hydraulic problem thus far. We will verify that. So we'll put it back together. That would be really nice. Because I'm not sure if I have any more of those little round, those tiny seals. All right, so let's get these screws back in here. Oh man, don't lose it. Keep it together. Only got a little hydraulic fluid in the bottom of the machine now. All right, start with this guy up here. I put this voltage meter in here too for monitoring my battery level. Keep this thing from screaming all the time with the low voltage alarm. Okay, so I think I tightened this one up, but we'll verify that I tightened it up. Man, I'm glad we didn't take all those hoses off, but tried this first. Whew, that saved me some work. Yeah, she tight. Wipe some of the oil off of this thing here. Off of these here. Off the drip side. Okay. Alright, now I've got this out here. We'll take this rag and I do a nice clean here. Now I want to flex this guy up, get him up here, and I check the washers on there. So now it's just going to be a matter of starting this without cross-threading it. We'll just go nice and, okay, got a good start on it, feels good. So now we get up here, we can put a little pressure on it. Oh, she's tight. Make sure you use a nice big screwdriver with these guys too. Alrighty then. Okay. Now, before, we don't need that valve box secured before we test it. That's just an extra step if something goes wrong. So, yep, washer's on there. Clear that. Wipe my hands. Power the radio. Plug this guy in. Make sure everything's kind of out of the way for the motor. Wipe the hydraulic fluid off my plug. All right. Raise our boom. And stick. Get the air out of it. Hey, it's staying in place. Let's see, let me get the camera so you guys can see what's going on here. All right. Stay in put. Oh yeah. Pulling on it, stay in put. And oh yeah. She's staying put. All right. Sweet. It was just a matter of it not centering and allowing backflow. Nice. So she should drag herself forward here, Sabine. Oh yeah. All right, that's fixed. Simple shop time today. I like it. Around it a couple times just to make sure the air's out of the system. Looking good. But while we got it apart, we still want to put in our pressure water. All right, so that's all good. So I ran the boom, ran the stick, and we're good. So we're sitting there at 11.9 volts. I like having my voltmeter there. So I run it to about 10.5 minimum voltage, and that's when my battery's done. So, and my overflow in my tank, I don't know if I showed you guys this, but I drilled a hole and put it outside. So if I get any overflow out of the tank, it just drips down the outside of the machine there instead of inside. This is so hard to clean in here. It seems roomy, but when you got oil sitting all over in all those nooks and crannies, you never can get it all out of there. So I try to keep as much oil out as I can until I work on it. So, all right, well, I'm gonna pause here and move on. All right, so I'm wanting to replace this guy because it seems to have been a little touchy on not wanting to hold the right pressure. And I got no way to troubleshoot the hydraulic system as far as pressure goes to see what kind of pressure my pump's putting out, because there's no gauge on it. So I've got this guy right here. And I'm going to put that on there because we should see that gauge running between the 2 and the 4 mark, somewhere right in there. Should be adequate. So now I gotta, oh boy. I might have to get another piece for this it will depend on what threads this guy is. I'll show you. Because it's bigger, so if the threads are bigger as well, this one will fit. This one will not fit. So maybe. We'll see. I'll unthread it and see what the thread is on it. So we'll loosen the return line up. Grab my adjustable wrench here. Oh, looks like it's got the smaller threads. Don't trip on everything. Making a mess. Yeah, you guys seen that coming. You didn't warn me. Make sure I didn't lose my... Oh, it's still on there. My gasket's still on there. Alright, so I think I'm just going to let it dangle kind of like this one was. Went ahead and secured my line on the other side over here. So I got to put my output line from the valve block in over here. And then I'm hoping to let it kind of sit in here. I think the opening should be about right for where this sits to allow the keep it from binding up on anything. So we'll see. Let's get this thumb cap off of here if we can. And this is the high pressure. It's the very stiff line. These are hard to get on. Probably going to be hard to get off too. Found that out doing that Lesu hydraulic setup on the dumper. And that thumb screw does not want to back off. There we go. It'd probably be a good idea to redo that whole connection, but I'll wait for a blowout. I know, silly, right? You almost think I liked working on these things. All right. So now I kind of want to, before I tighten that up, I want to see what angle I want that at. So I'm thinking I want it kind of right in there. So if we actually put it up like that, I think that'll work pretty good. Yeah, all right, let's tighten this up right here. Okay, make sure this is tight. All right, that's it. That's seated. Okay, right here, which is leaking now. All right, we'll tighten him up at that angle. That should kind of help keep everything somewhat in place. And get this. Soak up a little bit of that oil as much as we can. Yeah, guess that'd be the one drawback to hydraulic machines is the oil, but just like the full-scale machines, it just kind of gets oil all over the place. And clean up what you can. Nobody likes dirty, oily machines, but we live with them. All right, so now I want to just tuck this stuff down in there and just test fit. Leave that soaking for a second. All right, that's not bad. Clears the fan. Nice. I don't know what the fan's hitting. We're not hitting. Oh, some wiring, some hose. I mean, for a big, wide open area, that's a pretty tight fit for everything. Especially once you start trying to get the battery and all that in here. Okay, so we'll get that. And I guess we need to run the pump, test this thing out real quick, and adjust it. So we want to make sure we're opened up on it here. Power up. And check for leaks. Okay, now as long as I can lift it to check it, we'll put it in this way. It'd be nice if the gauge was on this other side. But we will just do it like this. I only need it for troubleshooting. If you don't have a center bypass valve system, so when everything's in the neutral position, while the pump's running, it's basically just running through the valve system and running it back into the tank. So you kind of got this constant flow. But when you're operating one of the valves, then you're in, out. So you got one going in, one going out, and as it's coming back, then you're going to have the pressure build up on your system. This should be controlling that pressure, high or low. And that's what this adjustment is for, is when it's operating. Because if you're in the neutral, it's just the pump's running and just pumping oil with very little resistance. But to get more power to the boom, that's when it bypasses the neutral bypass and it's going through our pressure regulator. My other tractors aren't like this. They're constantly running through the bypass. So when you turn the pump on, you'll see what pressure your pump's generating. That's kind of what I expected with this, but I didn't realize, I didn't realize that it had the central bypass. So let's tighten this up, because this is the line that's got the most pressure on it. All right, so I took it out, tested it, made some radio adjustments. So that pressure was good at right around 3 psi, or 3 bar. That worked good. I had to make some adjustments to the radio so that the bucket wouldn't slap up on me. So I had to adjust some exponential on that and total throw so that it runs smoother, because I have a tendency when the bucket gets all the way back, it just kind of slaps and then throws a lot of material out, which if I'm not careful it still kind of will, but it's much more manageable now the way I got the radio set up. And I did put those sub trims in for the boom so that it's more centered. So the pump, I was starting to build pressure on the gauge when I was just trying to do slow maneuvers and getting some chattering in there while the pump was starting to run, building the pressure up but not opening up to the cylinders. So I just had to fine tune the sub trim on that boom channel to get that where it needed to be. But everything else seemed to be working really good. So I tested it out there. I don't have too much power where I'm pulling it around, but enough to where I still got all the power that this weight of machine can handle without it becoming just a hassle. Because like I said, if you grab some material and the machine just pulls itself all over the place, it doesn't matter how much power you have. That's no fun. So I want digging power, but I don't want to have to reposition the machine every time I grab a bite of something. So that's good. We need to top the oil off. I went ahead and secured the screws in here. I cleaned the oil out of the machine there. I didn't think you guys would care to see that, so I did that off camera. But now we're going to fill the oil. So to fill the oil in this machine, of course, you take this guy out of there. Make sure our washer's on there. And dump some more oil in here. I'm sucking air back in so I know I'm not full. And because I like to work on angles and stuff, I like to fill this thing up pretty good. Now I'm sucking a lot of fluid back. There's the air. So I'm pretty close to where I want to be. Get a little bit more right there. There's some air. So that should be good right there. Okay. So that puts that tank at probably about at least 3/4 full. Because I've got a mark on my tube. I don't put it all the way down to the rubber. I just put it at that mark. Alright, now I'm just gonna sit down in there. Oh, we need to put this guy here. Our antenna back up over there. I'd like this guy tucked in right about here. And we'll use those wires to kind of hold that down into place. Alright, get our power connector over here. we still have one more thing we got to do before we throw this back together because of this slop. It gets tight, it gets sloppy. So get our, there we go, our power connector out right here. We got to take this guy out again. I think I tightened them up that tight last time out. Go ahead and get these out of here. I've had this turn motor in and out so many times. Because it's a constant pain. Wow, dude is really in there tight. I heard it pop, so that should have it pop loose, hopefully. Yeah, alright. Take this out, let's see what's going on here. Well, this is my modded 13 tooth, so I had to grind it down a little bit so that it wouldn't rub the bottom down there. And no, that, oh, that's tight. Well, I don't know why I've got so much slop again. Because all I got is whatever's in the motor slopping. Double check, put extra pressure on it here. Nope. Okay, there it is. It felt, see, it felt tight by hand, but look at this. So, grab it with these guys and watch what happens. Ugh. Okay, let's see if we can see that. So, it's loose. And I tell you, man, that thing, I mean, you can even see all the Loctite on it here. Yeah, it's loose. Boy, oh boy, I don't know what to do about that. Loosen that guy, take it off. Guess let's try the pink, the 222 again on this one. All right. So we're going to put a little here. Make sure it's on the inside of the threads. A little here. Ooh, a lot there. Okay. All right. that hard on it anyway. It's seated. Alright, we'll see how the pink holds. It's light hold. The blues haven't been working. If not, I'll have to get some red. Alright, so put her back in. It fits just right. I mean, that mesh is just, with that 13 tooth, it just gives it that extra bit of space. That 12 was way too sloppy. Yeah, it was about like what it was before we started working on it. But that's even with that 12 tooth all tightened up and in place. These things do a lot of spinning though. All right. Oh, look at that. That's what I am talking about. Nice. All right, that's it. We're done. This thing should be getting back out in the field now. Put our oil away. Sweet. All right. So that stuff will go there. We'll plug this guy back in. To our light switch. All right, and that, as they say, is that. So now we'll get this thing back out there and get it working. Hopefully get you guys a construction video coming soon.